Hello friend, I am Naval. You are watching Code with Naval. Welcome to Java series part 44. In our last video, we saw types of exception. In this video, we are going to discuss how to handle those exceptions. Here you can see Java provide a few keywords to handle an exception: try, catch, finally, throws, and throw keyword. So let's discuss one by one. First, we discuss try and catch block. The try keyword is used to specify a block where we should place exceptional code. The try block must be followed by either a catch or finally block. It means we can't use a try block alone. Along with the try block, we have to write a catch or we have to write a finally block. Here you can see in this example, here simply inside a try block, we write a 5 statement. And here third statement throw exception, and we handle that exception in a catch block. But remember one thing, whenever we use a try block, don't write all code inside a try block. You can see here we got a one issue. Here first statement execute properly, then second statement also execute properly, and this third statement throw exception. But let's consider here we have this third statement have a exceptional code, but this two statement also not executing, because that this statement 4 and statement 5 will not execute because core raised in an early stage. Here in this scenario, we instead of writing all code inside a try block, we can write a only exceptional code inside a try block. Okay. Then here we have a catch block for a handle exception. The catch block is used to handle an exception that occur in a try block. It must be preceded by a try block, which means we can't use a catch block alone. We must write a catch block after try block. Okay. We can't write a alone try block. Along with a try block, we have to write a catch or finally block. And we can't write a catch block. Along with the catch block, we have to write a try block. If exception occur in a try block, then only execute catch block. Here you can see this try block. Here we write some statement, and if this statement throw exception, then only execute this catch block. Here we can see this try block is a plan A and this catch block is a plan B. If we create any plan, that time we decide if plan A is a fail, then we will proceed to plan B. Okay, same thing here. Inside a try block statement is a plan A. If plan A is a not work, then we will proceed to plan B. Okay. Then here we have a few messages. We can print those messages, those statement, and we can provide more information about exception. Here you can see print exceptional info. In a catch block for a printing exceptional info, Java provides 3 methods. First one is a get message. Just print a simple exception message. It will not provide much information. It will simply print the exception message. Then second, we have a toString. This toString provide a exception class, then along with that exception message. Then third, we have a print stack trace. This print stack trace provide a first exception message, then provide a exception class, then provide a, in our code, which line throwing exception. Okay, along with the class name, in which line throwing exception. Okay, let's see. I'll simply open an Eclipse, and let's say practically we'll simply create a one class, and this class name is a part 44, and here we simply write a main method. Let's write here main method. Inside our main method, we will simply write a normal statement, simple statement without exception first. This one is a first statement. Okay, then we will simply write one array. Okay, let's see, create one array, and inside array we will simply store here 4 value. Okay, now I am trying to access this value using an index. Okay, let's access those value using an index. Here we simply access a_r, and here we are accessing one index value. Okay, here we are accessing one index value. Here you can see index starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have a 0 to 3 index, and we can access those index value. Okay, and after that, okay, let's see. Okay, after this statement we have some important code. Okay, let's see. I'll simply write here IMP code. Okay, important code or important statement. Okay, if this earlier code execute or not execute, no matter, but this statement should be always execute, because this line is a very important. Okay, this code is a very important. Okay, let's save and run this. You can see first statement execute, then here this second statement execute, then this important code also execute. Okay, but here we try to access, here you can see 0 1 2 3. Here we are trying to access 4 index value, but that 4 index don't have a value. Okay, then what happen? Here we are not getting any error compile time, but when we run program, that time you can see here we get a array index out of bound exception. And because this exception later, after that whatever we write a code, that code will not execute. You can see this code should be execute, because this one is an important code, but this code is not executing because here exception raised in an early stage. You can see here exception raised in an early stage. Okay, so how can we handle this exception? We can simply write an exceptional code inside a try block. Okay, so let's create here try block and add this 2 line is exceptional. That's why we simply add this 2 line inside of this try block, and we cannot write only try block. Along with the try block we have to write a catch block. Okay, you can see here catch or finally, then it will this try block complete. Let's add here catch block, and here you can see here we get a array index out of bound exception. So here you can see this exception class is a parent class of all exception classes. That's why this exception class is able to handle any exception. But now here I want to handle only specific exception. I want to handle only array index out of bound exception. So instead of using exception class, I can simply use this array index out of bound exception. Okay, let's copy this, add here, let's save this, and we will simply, here we have a few options: get message, toString, and print stack trace. Okay, let's see one by one. We will simply first use get message, and here we pass e. Okay, this e dot get message. Okay, let's save this, run this, and here you can see here we get a 4. Okay, here we get a only this index number. Here we are trying to access this 4th index, and this index is not available in this array. Okay, that's why this message get message only return this index. Okay, then second we have a, okay, let's see, second we have a toString. Let's use that e dot toString. Let's see e dot toString. This toString simply return an exceptional class with the exception message. Okay, let's save and run this. Here you can see first we get the exceptional class. Okay, what kind of exception raised? Array index out of bound exception. And what index we are trying to access? This 4. Okay, but here you can observe our exception handled inside a catch block and this important code executing. Okay, then finally here we have a e dot print stack trace. Okay, let's see. Print stack trace simply return first exception message, then exception class. Along with that, return a which line throwing exception in our code. Let's see. Save this, run this, and here you can see here first we get an exceptional class with exception message, and in our class name is a part 44. Inside a part 44, this main method, inside a main method, this throwing error in a line number 11. You can see here line number 11. Here we are trying to access this 4th index. Okay, but whenever we use this try block, take special care. Don't write all code inside a try block. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see here. We will try to add statement 2. Then let's copy this and we will simply try to add, okay, this statement 3 and this statement 4. Now inside a try block, this statement also important. Which one? This 3rd and 4th statement. Let's run this program, and you can see here our first statement execute properly. Then here our second statement also give output properly, and third statement throw exception. After that, whatever we write a code inside a try block, that code will not execute because exception raised here and our pointer go inside a catch block. Okay, so whenever we write any code inside a try block, then only write that code. That code is actually throwing exception. So don't write all code inside a try block. So here you can see, now here we have only one exception message. Here you can see developer understand we are trying to access out of bound exception. Then developer only access, okay, whatever index available, only access that index. Then this issue is fixed. Here you can see this other statement also executing and this important statement also executing. Then again this here we add some exceptional code. Okay, what exception code? Here we simply write one string and inside a string we store some value. Okay, let's store a, and here we try to print this a using index ss dot character at. This character at here we need to pass index, and in return we get a that index character. Okay, here we are trying to pass third, and let's save and run. Here you can see here we get a one more exception. We already handle exception, but still we get a exception. Why? Because this exceptional we handle only here array index out of bound exception. Here we didn't handle this exception. Okay, so I'll show here. Here we can handle here we can add a multiple catch block, and we can handle a different exception. In a one try block have a possible to occur multiple exception. For handle those exception we can write a multiple catch block. For a different exception we need to print a different message. Then we can create a multiple catch block and handle exception and print different message for a different exception. Using a multiple catch block we have to follow some rules. In a multiple catch block we have to follow child exception class to parent exception class. Okay, what reason behind this? Let's consider. Here we write some code, and that code throwing a array index out of bound exception. First, that if you directly write a parent exception class, then we write a child exception class. Then this parent exception class able to handle any kind of exception. Then this child exception class don't get chance. That's why first we give a chance child exception. Are you able to handle? If child exception class not able to handle, then parent exception class handle that. Okay, let's see. We will simply show you practically. Okay, here you can see this exception raising this string index out of bound exception. This one is the child interface of index out of bound exception class. Okay, let's see. We will simply open a declaration, and inside you can see this class is the child interface of index out of bound exception. Okay, in a second catch block we will simply use the index out of bound exception. You can see. Okay, let's write a one more catch block, and inside this catch block we will simply use the index out of bound exception. This index out of bound exception is the parent class of array index out of bound exception and string index out of bound exception. Okay, let's see. We'll simply write here. We'll simply print here also e dot print stack trace, and let's save this, run this. Now you can see. Okay, let's add some statement inside this catch blocks. Okay, I'll simply add here, then we can understand which catch block executing. Catch first, and then we will simply add same in a second catch also, catch second. Okay, so we will get the idea which catch block executing. Let's save and run. Here you can see this here exception raise inside try block exception raise. Then this exceptional first check first catch block, this exceptional class matching or not. This exceptional class is not matching with the first catch block. Then it will check in a second catch block, and here this exception class match that exception. Then here print exception and handle exception. Okay, and finally here our important statement execute. And after this we can use a exception class. Here we have some other exception. Okay, let's we have a fix this exception also. Let's save and run this. Here you can see now all statement executing proper. Then again someone add some code, some other exceptional code. Let's add here, and here someone tried to 12 divided by 0. Let's save this and run this, and here you can see here also again we get the exception. This all statement execute, and here in this line here we get an exception. Okay, this exception is a different arithmetic exception, and here we already handle array index out of bound exception and index out of bound exception, but this exception is not matching this catch blockage. Okay, that's why this important statement not execute. You can see here we don't see any important statement execution. So how can we handle this exception? We can simply write one catch block, and there we can add a arithmetic exception, or we are not sure this only arithmetic exception, or it can be through other exception also. Then in this scenario we can use a directly parent exception class. Okay, let's catch, and here we directly use the exception class. Okay, and let's print here, and simply I'll write first system.out.println catch 3, and here we simply write e.print_trace. Okay, let's add here e.print_trace. Let's save this, run this, and here you can see this time execute this exception class, this catch 3, and then execute important statement. Okay, here you can see here we followed child to parent. Here most child then parent. Okay, but what if we try to follow parent to child? Okay, let's try to add here parent, and here you can see here we get an error. Okay, and you can see uncatchable catch block. It is index out of bound is already handled by catch block exception, because this exception class is a already handle this exception. Then there is no use this catch block. Okay, if we remove this, and you can see if we can't use the same exception classes again and again also, this also throw the same error already handled by catch block. Okay, so here we have to follow parent, here we have to follow child to parent always. Here let's see array index of bound exception. So in this way we can use a multiple catch block for a for handle a different exception and print a different message for each exception. So in this video we understand simply how to write a try block and how to write a multiple catch block. Okay, and what rule we have to follow when using a multiple catch block. So in this video that's it. We will see next topic in the next video. Till that, bye bye.